Hey y'all, so in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to add a material background to SwiftUI elements like a text or a label. This was announced in WWDC 2021 and only currently works in Xcode 13 beta. So make sure you have those downloaded. Nothing's really available public yet. It's all developer beta, but except for probably Xcode 13, but like iOS and all that kind of stuff is developer beta right now. But anyway, so let's walk through this material background, talk about what it is, and all that fun stuff. First, what exactly does a material background mean? Well, it means that you can blur the background of a view so that the non-blurred part is more prominent. So the background color can be the background can be like a color or an image, and if you put like a text in front of it, you might want a background on that text so that you can actually see what the text is saying. And that's where the material background modifier comes in. So this is going to be a modifier. This material background that I keep talking about is actually going to be a background. We're going to apply a modifier to the view in SwiftUI and then say it's a type of material basically. But first, I want to talk about what operating systems, what platforms support this, all that jazz. That way you don't get to like in the weeds with it if you just don't need it right now. All of this is not backwards compatible, so it's all going forward. So that means iOS 15, macOS 12, tvOS 15, watchOS 8. Those are all in developer beta currently, and I believe most, if not all, will be public beta at some point. That's usually how Apple rolls. But with that being said, those are the platforms it supports. Again, you need Xcode 13 beta. Links in the description for everything. Well, links in the description to Apple's developer site, and also while you're down there, make sure to hit the like button, thumbs up, subscribe, all that jazz. It was just really useful. Share if you want to. So now, with that being said, let's hop in and start coding. So in Xcode, we're going to go ahead and start a new project. So I always just choose an iOS app. It just makes it easier. I don't deal with macOS as much, so iOS is just a little bit easier to start with. Then we're going to hit next. Make sure to give it a name. And then if you want to create a Git repo, you can. If not, don't worry about it. I like to check it because there's going to be a GitHub link at some point in the description that shows this project that we worked on in this video. All right, so this is pretty normal. The very first thing we actually need to do is Xcode just kind of assumes that we are going to be, we're still working with iOS 14. The very first thing we need to do is actually go into the material background project here and change that to iOS 15. You can see that the minimum requirements iOS 14.0. Like I said, this is only valid with iOS 15, so we're going to go ahead and do that here. There we go. So now we can go back to our content view. And the first thing I'm going to do is actually get this canvas going because it's going to be pretty nifty to see. All right, so with the canvas on now, the next thing is we're going to wrap the text hello world in a Z stack. So right here, if you haven't seen this menu before, this isn't new to Xcode 13. This is actually pretty nifty though. You can command and then click on a view basically, and you can embed it in H stacks, V stacks, Z stacks. We're going to go ahead and embed this in a Z stack because you need that layering. Now behind the text, we're going to go ahead and add a background color. So color, I'm going to choose black so that we can quickly see what exactly is going on here. So now we don't see the text hello world, which is fine because this is where that background modifier comes in. So with that background modifier applied, it's going to add a blur or a color in this case because there's not an image, but it's going to apply a blur right behind text so that we can actually see it. So I'm going to hit dot, background, and then if you go in here and you hit dot, there's a lot of different options here. I'm going to go ahead and just choose regular material right now. And what we should see is now there's a nice gray box around the hello world. Again, this is just nifty. It's useful. Now we can actually see what we're talking about in this Z stack. And that's all it takes to add in that blurred background. So if we were using like an image, you would see a different image there. If you were seeing, you would see the image in the background and it would just be blurred where the text is, and then the image would just be focused. Like I said, right now we're just playing with color, the easiest to show. Now you can modify it and make it more customizable if you need to. So with that being said, there's 5 levels of thickness to material. So you have regular, which is what we have here right now. And that's the middle of no material and ultra thick material. So you have like completely nothing where there is no background applied. You have ultra thin, thin, regular, thick, ultra thick. That ultra thick is going to be not see-through whatsoever. And your ultra thin is going to be super see-through. So let's just go ahead and step through those real quick. So first, this is what the ultra thin material looks like. You can start to see the hello world is really dark. The gray is also darker. If I change this color here, you can start to see it's a little bit different. Anyway, it's just really, it's a lot more translucent. I'm gonna go ahead back to black. And then you have the thin. We'll just step through all 5. A little bit less translucent. So as we go thicker in the material, we'll start to see less and less of the background. Regular, which we saw before. Thick. It's getting pretty white there, really close to white, just because it's going to become not translucent at all, basically, with the ultra thick. And a little bit more thickness there. So those are the 5 different levels of thickness. Again, if you just don't want a background, you can get rid of it. So another way to customize the material background isn't necessarily with just like the thickness, but you can also customize it by what shape it is. So if you are wanting this to be in a circle necessarily, you can actually, once you have the regular material in there, if you type in comma in circle, it'll start to go a circle. So now that's a circle, you can also even put in a rounded rectangle and give it a border radius, and that'll actually give you like a pill style here. And I did not make that prominent enough, but there you go. And so now you can start seeing your you can start seeing those rounded edges, which is really useful if, like I said, on here, so you can start to see like that starts to look more like a button. Or if you really wanted to make something just like pill, like we could make the Z stack a lot smaller if we wanted to at that point, and like then hello world or whatever label you have would be a lot more prominent on this rectangle. So another thing, and one last thing to be aware of, as most SwiftUI does, if we're using anything dynamic like this, it also depends on your device settings. So if the color of your device is in dark mode, then your translucent is going to be a little bit different. So in here, under color scheme right here, we choose light. That's what we are right now. But if we go to dark, you can see that the translucent kind of like flips. It's a black on black kind of deal. And it just automatically knows because the color's black. And it, like I said, if we change this to a different color, it's going to look different because it is dark theme. So if we change this back to light, we'll go back to the lighter color scheme. So just be aware, you get a lot from this just by using the default stuff here. I do know it's not possible all the time to use this kind of stuff just because iOS 15 isn't going to be iOS 15. You might not be ready to support, but as of right now, at least, it looks like iOS 15 is installing on all devices that iOS 14 can install on, and I believe iOS 14 installs on all devices that iOS 13 can. So hopefully you can start using this pretty soon because it's pretty nifty. I did all of this with a text view, but you can also do this with like a label, for instance, where you really just need to emphasize what you want your user to do, or emphasize something on the screen with like an icon and a text. So let's just do that real quick. So taking out this text here, and we should get a heart there. There we go. It just took a little bit to get that actual heart in there. And now we have it in behind a background. Now it's a little bit small, so of course you could add some padding just like we normally do. And boom. Now we have something that's a little bit more prominent on that rectangle. And that's really how easy it is to blur a background on a view now. You just add in that material background modifier, specify how thick you want it to be. And if you need it in a special shape, as long as it's a shape protocol, it conforms to a shape protocol, you should be good to add whatever you want in it. If you liked this video, then please make sure to hit that like button below along with the subscribe button so that you get notified when I post more Swift tips and tricks and also SwiftUI goodies like this. And I will catch you on the next video. Bye.